Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Number one. I think there's a storm coming in here in Texas. So I'm taking my munchkins out to Six Flags for a few hours this morning to go ride some roller coasters and play around. Let's go and enjoy the morning a little bit, and then off to get a little bit of work done and go enjoy some adult time out by the lake later tonight. So that's what's on my agenda. What's on yours? The reason I'm on here this morning is, number one, because I always do conscious coffee, right? Committed to the conscious coffee live stream that I am definitely having God Universe share with me the impact that these coffees are having for my tribe, for my followers. So I just want to share a little bit of gratitude to everybody who does follow me and watch and share and even apply some of the principles and teachings that I share on here. So I want to say thank you to you guys who are on here, who are following. Morning, Dawn. Morning, Addison. But this morning, I guess I kind of sit here very humbly this morning with my heart sort of wide open. I know when the person that I'm going to share a little tale about here pops on, I just want that person to know thank you. I'm not mentioning names, and he shall know who I'm speaking of when he listens to this. But yesterday, morning, Eric. Yesterday, I did this deeply moving appointment with a person and with a man, and little did I know what God was going to bless me with, going to impact me with in an hour's time frame. But I held my shit together during the session, which was pretty damn impressive because of all the emotion that I felt swelling up inside of me over this man's story. And after the appointment, I was grateful that I didn't have to leave right then, and I didn't have another appointment back to back, because I took about 10 minutes and just sat in my office and just let my tears just go. Just let myself just not like fall apart and get all weepy and boo-hoo-hoo, but just this release of emotion, of gratitude, of compassion, and a realization of not only is life such a blessing, as though we go, life is precious, we are given life, to live it and everything, but for the people that come into our lives, no matter how long they impact our lives. This particular person just recently lost his small child. So, it was like a 9-year impact of somebody else's life on his life. And to witness and hear about who he was and who he has become because of the care that he, this connection with his son and everything, and to just witness that heart expansion and everything, but at the same time to truly feel his pain, and as a parent to kind of put myself in those shoes and to feel that, and I cannot imagine what it must be like to be a parent that has lost that. As I sat there and I cried, just as like all that emotion that was just like stored up, I sat there and these tears just came out, and I had this realization of what was actually being said. And the true gift of life is not just, we have the gift of our life, and to do with it the best we can and to share the best we can. But then we have the gift of somebody else's life touching ours, impacting ours. And then we have the gift of releasing them And it is that release work that is so freaking powerful. Morning, Daniel, Craig, Karma. It really truly is like this. It's a massive impact. It's to release somebody else's life, to let them go, is potentially one of the most freeing experiences that we can ever take on in life. Now, when somebody passes, when we deal with death, like this man with his child, there is a forced release that takes place as far as the physical, where we have to, in those moments when somebody passes on, when they, when they croak, to put it very frankly, right? It is that there is this release that we have to let go of that physical. They're no longer in our daily lives. We can no longer text them. We can no longer call them. We can no longer sit with them. We can no longer do these things with the physical representation of that person. But one of our major holdbacks in life, and this was my moment, I should have gotten this before. I mean, I swear some of the stuff I teach, I really think that a lot of it's just like these no-duh common sense things. But the no-duh common sense things also are so easy to overlook that we miss them, and they hold us back because they're so simple of understandings that we kind of take for granted that we would just get it, and then we are living it and we don't get it, and then we wonder, why are we being held back? What's that blockage? What's that holdback? That roadblock there? And then it comes down to the little itty bitty thing, right? And that's across the board. But here it is, this release. Morning, Chester. Morning, Terry, Frank. This release that we get when somebody passes, we might let go of their physical, but do we let go of the emotional connection? Do we let go of the mental connection of constantly reliving, re-tapping into, re-anchoring that energy into our lives, that life into our lives? And then how do we re-anchor it into our lives? Do we re-anchor it in a positive, as though this person, this soul, has blessed our life with so much education, so much learning, so much gifts, so much love, so much, like, oh wow, this person really expanded me in so many different ways? Or do we tend to focus in on the not having of that person in our lives anymore, and the loss that we have with that person now not there? Now, when we deal with death, the person is gone, right? They are physically gone. No matter what your belief structure is, that physical body of that person is now gone. It has transferred over to another whatever, okay? Here's the thing. We consistently lose people, and I'm going to focus in on people here. We could talk about losing our jobs. We could talk about losing our homes. We could talk about losing all of these, financial things and these materialistic things. I'm not talking about the materialistic things today. Today I'm going to talk about that loss of actual relationship, of actual physical flesh in our life, of somebody else. Death is one major impacting way. Another impacting way, of course, is that, a relationship breaks up. We no longer have a relationship in our lives. We part with our spouse. We part with a lover. Our hearts get broken. We get into a fight with our child, with our mother, with our father, with our sibling, with our best friend. We move different directions, and they're no longer in our way, in our life for, maybe a few months, maybe a few years, maybe forever. Any one of those moments, what's going on is that we are being requested to release the old energy that was once perhaps serving us, but no longer is serving us in any fashion, because it is no longer needed in our life at that level. And it's very, very hard for us to actually let go of the emotional and mental connection to another human being. We tend to want to hold on because we're scared that we're going to lose the memory. We're scared that in that release that we are going to forget this person, that we are not honoring them anymore, or that if we let go, we're never going to receive again at that level. We're never going to be touched at that level again. And here you go. It's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. The only thing that prevents us from from really not being able to be received at that level or to receive at that level, that love, that connection, that depth, that compassion, everything that we feel in relationship is that hold back, that blockage. So that puts up armor, you could say, in front of us. It causes us to shield ourselves from love, okay, from love, from depth, from vulnerability. So we choose in that moment to not surrender anymore to relationship at this depth of a level, okay? And when we do that, well, we're sealing the deal on that. We have to do the release work. We have to do the forgiveness work. We have to do that clearing work to really let this other soul go from our lives. So think of the baby bird. If you hold on to the baby bird, you know, the tried and true old thing that we all hear. If you hold a bird too tight, what do? You end up killing it. And if you let it open your hands, if it flies away, then it was never meant to be. And if it flies back to you, then it is yours. But you don't want to hold on to it so tight that you smother it. And what we do with relationships that have served their course in our life experience is that we tend to take this relationship that is no longer physically with us. Okay, so no matter what took the relationship from us, doesn't matter. We serve that. Hey, morning, Laura. Morning, Tom. Thank you for, yes, forgiveness is so true. Yes. What we do in that moment is that we hold on to this emotional, mental chain to that person's energy. And we smother that feeling. We smother that connection. And we don't smother them, okay? They're gone. They have gone and traveled wherever they're traveling to, right? They're no longer in the picture. What we are smothering is we are smothering our own heart. We are smothering our own emotions, our own ability to connect, to receive, and to trust in ourselves, in others, and in love again, by holding on so tight to this relationship, by having this belief that if I do the release work, if I let go and I don't just consistently come back here and just go, no, this is the relationship, this is the relationship, this is what I don't have, this is what I lost, this is what I had, this is what I want, but this is what I don't have. And we just keep digging and holding and anchoring right here in this what we don't have, what is no longer here with us. What we do is we keep ourselves in the not having it, and we completely prevent ourselves from receiving because we have now shielded ourselves off to everything that could potentially be right there. And you know what? You're not going to, no matter what the situation, no matter what the loss is, those deep loves that penetrate you at that deep soul core level, they never ever leave you. That is the true blessing. That is truly the blessing of life, is that the impact that we can have on each other, human to human, in these moments of deep, passionate love that, and I'm not talking all sexy passion here. I'm talking about heart and soul passion, love that comes from here. When we tap into that and we share at that level of depth, no amount of anything is ever going to steal that away from us. We're never going to forget those moments. We're never going to forget those sensations. We're always going to be able to tap into that deep, beautiful love that we felt in exchange with another person. It's not going anywhere. It is something that has forever changed us and made us into who we are. But if we choose to hold it and smother it, we then turn it into something almost dark and negative. We really do tend to, in that smothering, in that holding back of that love, we swish it, we change it to something that is not what it is supposed to be. And in that, we actually lose the true memory and feeling of that other person. We just kind of destroy it by trying to anchor it and hold it so tightly. It's interesting. Last night I sat down with my lover on the couch, and I've been trying to watch this show that my daughter suggested to me to watch, my 16-year-old. I should never take advice on watching shows from a 16-year-old, but I love, like, supernatural and horror and weird shows and just stuff that kind of makes you think and everything. And she's like, oh, you gotta watch this, Mom, you gotta watch it. And it's a Netflix series called Chambers. So if you've watched it, I'm working through season 1. I fell asleep last night, though. I was so exhausted last night. I fell asleep. I started whenever one I was on, but promptly crashed. But the other night I was watching it, and there was all this release work going on around the death of a daughter in the show. And I was thinking about, like, yeah, that's true. Like, we have to really release. And then here comes this man into my space yesterday sharing this. And my inquiry to him was, have you done the release work? Now, I could read very, very clearly on him that he has not done the full-on release work. And it is way too fresh of a wound, you could say, to even really necessarily do massive release work around. But it is truly the case that when we are wanting to move forward, when we have that call, that pull, right? I talk a lot about pulling and pushing. If we're trying to push ourselves, then we're trying to, and in this case, trying to push ourselves to mourn things in a time frame. Like, I love it where our world tells us, oh, you get 3 days to get over that. You get a week to get over that. Oh, you get 3 weeks to get over that. Here you go. Like there's some freaking time frame on our healing process, and that we need to adhere to somebody else's ideas as to when we should just be over something and when we are ready to move on. None of that. That all gets us out of alignment when we try to adhere to some fictitious illusion of time, and that this is the course that it's supposed to take, so therefore you have this long, and we go, oh, by May 18th of 2020 I should be over this, and then I'm ready to move on. So until May 18th you can just sit back and like go, okay, it's this, and then on May 18th you're like, okay, now I should just feel better. No, that's goofy, right? Mourning takes, each one of us, we have our own process in that, our own timeline in that, as to how long it's going to take us to move through anything. Any grieving process takes each person their own unique amount of time, because none of us process things the same way. None of us have been, think about things the same way, or have been raised the same way, and every relationship and every mourning and grieving process is unique to itself. But we tend to want to block it out and make sure that, we're going to fit in this little guideline system. And if you don't, then there's something wrong with you. Hey, morning, Erica and Nick and Ron. So it's funny that we do that, but what we do when we try to block out this timeline and we go, okay, it's been 3 months, it's been whatever that timeline is that you have in your head, realize that that's part of that holding right here, and that smothering, and it's very dishonoring to the emotion, to the connection, and to the relationship. So once again, open up, let that, don't beat yourself up for still having this little tug in you, and don't beat yourself up for going, I'm getting a pull to move forward. It's too soon. It's not soon enough. So, if you push yourself, then you might be pushing yourself too soon. Maybe you're not ready to move. But if you feel this pull, like this tug that's saying, no, it's time to move. It's time to open up. It's time to love again. It's time to embrace life and to really let yourself feel life again. Well, that tug, that is your soul saying, we're ready, let's go. Not, let's forget everything, let's forget that person, let's forget that love. No, you're never going to forget. You're never going to lose the love. It's just that tug of, it's time for you to take life again by the reins, and to honor yourself, and to honor that relationship, no matter how it passed, but to honor that relationship by living your life, by stepping into your life fully, by claiming what you need to be doing, which is what? To breathe into that moment, to fall back in love with self, to forgive, to let go, and to call in something else, something more, something again that is beautiful. Don't stop your receiving because of something that you perceive as a negative loss back here. It's not a negative loss. It's something that gifted you with lessons and with understandings that you never would have had if that had not come into your life. Each time we lose something, we also gain from that the understanding of what we really truly want in our life, in relationship, the things that we really value and appreciate, the things that mean something to us at that deep level instead of at a level that is just so surface. And a lot of our relationship with anybody in our life is so surface these days. We tend to, just like communicate only with little things, and we're scared to go deep because we've been injured so much in those areas, and we don't get the proper education and training to do the release work. So we hold, and it's like we're all just walking around with all this nasty hard armor on us that's blocking us from true deep relationship. So I encourage you. Ooh, a fly just tapped my coffee. Ooh. So I really encourage you to kind of look at, and I mean, yes, I was talking about this, but morning, Katie. But what I want you to do is I want you to look at where in your life are you having those holdbacks? Where are you not releasing the relationships that could potentially be holding you back in some fashion, and fully stepping in and embracing what is there for you to take in. Ask yourself the question, am I feeling pulled to move forward and to embrace life? Or am I trying to push myself into this where I feel like I should be doing this right now? Because if that comes up, I should, then there is something inside of you that is not ready to move forward. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't go and do the work around it. There's work to be done. A lot of the times when we feel those pushes, it is our soul saying, there's some cleanup that needs to take place here. There's some work that needs to take place. Let's go internal. Let's do the internal work. Internal. And guess what? The same thing is true when we feel that pull. It's our soul saying, let's do the internal work so that we can move forward. Either way you look at it, the first step to moving forward and really embracing your life when we have had to let go of certain things is to step into ourselves even more, because we lose ourselves in those moments. And it can take us quite some time to find ourselves, but we'll never find ourselves if we don't turn inward and really say, hey, who are you now? Where are you at now? What do you want now? What are your dreams, your desires now? And allow yourself just to really get clear on those things, because no matter what you've lost, no matter what has happened in your life, everything that has touched you for a reason, has brought you to this point that you're in right now. And your soul has this knowing of what is to come and what path you're supposed to be on. But in order for you to get into alignment with that, you've got to slow the fuck down and do the internal work to rediscover who you currently are. And who you currently are is a piece of who you were, a whole lot of who you are right now, and a desire to be the person that you know you're supposed to be in the future. And the way you tap into that person that you can potentially get some sense of in the future is to start to become him or her right now by doing the inquiry work, by doing that mindset work, by fully embracing all the gifts that you've been given from all these beautiful relationships. No matter how they've ended, all these beautiful relationships have touched you and moved you and brought you to right here, right now, and created this new version of you. Stepping back into an old version is never going to get you to where you want to be, never going to lead you to all the things, the blessings that you can potentially have, and the waves that you can make in your life ripples out to other people either. It's all about getting very, very much into who you are right now. My dog got a piece of trash and has decided, she's a puppy, and has decided that she's going to rip it up all over the yard. So when I get off of here, guess what I'm doing? Cleaning up my yard. Okay, guys, storm is coming. I'm going to go jump to Six Flags, take my munchkins out there. If you are coming in on the replay of this, I'm going to just make a quick announcement. Please leave in the comments this replay. Let me know. Of course, if you have any, I'd love to hear your stories. I encourage people to share their stories. You know, it's just that understanding that we're not the only ones out there. Everybody has lost. Everybody gains and loses. Everybody goes through different relationship changes. And our stories can impact others by how we process through the feelings and just that connection that we can gain from each other. So if anybody has something that they would like to share, please do in the comment section. I really, truly encourage you guys. Thank you, Laura. I will have a great day with my babies. I just encourage you to, you know, share that. Leave your comments about the topic that, you know, that I've been talking about. If you come in late on the conversation, please go back, listen to it, and let me know what your thoughts are as well on that. I would love to hear that. If you don't want to share it in the comments, feel free to message me as well. I am here for you and love your input. If I touched you in any way, message touched you, made you think of somebody who might need to hear it, or just made you go, hey, this needs to be heard, please hit the share button. Help me get Conscious Coffee out there. I appreciate everybody who has been on here. Tons and tons of people this beautiful Saturday morning. I really, truly appreciate that. I want to encourage anybody who is not too familiar with what's going on to know that I am doing free micro consults, which are 30-minute call consults until July 4th. So I can do consults with anybody around the world like that. And that is, of course, to touch in. And if you've thought about doing coaching, or if you've been following me for a while and thought about doing coaching with me, want to know a little bit more, want to know what that blueprint could potentially look like between you and me and what that coaching could look like, feel free to look at my free consults. Get on there before July 4th. Let's get you booked and explore that. There is a link in the comment section on that. I also want to quickly share with you that in about 10 days, I'm going to be in Punta Cana, sipping on coconuts and rum. Yeah, I'll be doing that. Hitting the beaches and enjoying the sun and the monkeys and all that good stuff. For our annual girls trip with Addison Bell, but her and I are going to be teaching monetizing badass bosses. We're going to be teaching you how to tap into your passion, play, and profits. Yes, I said passion, play, and profits. Day one, we're going to be talking all about play. We're going to be going into it in a big way. Is that right? Or day one, are we going to talk about passion? All right, well, I'm not even coffeed up yet, so forgive me. I'm getting my order off. Anyways, we're going to be talking about passion. We're going to be talking about how your passion can truly lead your soul and really get you into that creative space. Then we're going to be going into play, something that a lot of adults have a really tough issue with. But the most successful adults out there, the ones who are really truly going and getting and living what I call that fuck yes life, guess what? That right there is going to really, when we tap into our play, we tap into this creative force, this adventure, and just this ability to relate at an all new level. It's a very authentic, just like passion is authentic, play is very authentic, and that is what we are missing in our world today. And Addison and I are going to be talking about passion, play, and of course, how to monetize that stuff and bring it into profits, financial profits, profits of abundance in all areas of our life. Really learning how that those two things are key elements to our success, no matter what we are looking at. Now, we are going to be focusing in on, for you entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, side hustle people out there, of course, this workshop is definitely for you. But even if you don't have those things going on and you're just working the 9 to 5, corporate gig, or you're a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home mom who is going, I just don't feel passionate for my life anymore. I don't know how to play. I'm just like, man, I need some adult social time. Well, this workshop is definitely for you. This is a global online workshop, everybody. We're teaching it here on Facebook. It will be all recorded. You will have lifetime access to it through my members dashboard as well. It's going to be very, very powerful. And on top of it, until the 20th of this month, I am giving away last year's workshop that I did from Jamaica, which was called Ass in the Sand, where I'm teaching you how to take your entrepreneur business, your small business, your side hustle from 0 to 100,000. Of course, if you're already at 100,000, the same principles will take you from 100,000 to 255, a million. Doesn't much matter. I'm giving you the foundational principles to build that business in your soul alignment so that you are doing what your soul is calling you to do. As all the things that I have learned through the course of the last 25 plus years of my coaching practice of being an entrepreneur, entrepreneur, a mompreneur, raising her 7 babies and doing everything that I can do to really access and have that dynamic life, that life based on freedom, where you're setting your own timeline. That's what I'm teaching you in Ass in the Sand, and I'm giving it to you for free. This is a $300 value home study course that you, of course, will have lifetime access to as well. So that is available to anybody who signs up for Monetizing Badass Bosses before the 20th of this month. Definitely take a look at that. Hey, morning Woody, morning Lori, Brian, and you're going to find the link in the comments section for Monetizing Badass Bosses as well. Again, if you're coming in on the back side of this, make sure you go back through. Let me know your comments, your ideas about the topic that I discussed this morning on Conscious Coffee. Hit the share button if I touched you in any way. And as always, much gratitude and love to all of you who are following me. I